Welcome back to another electrifying episode of Test Chamber. I'm your host, Ben Reeves. I'm joined by Brian Shea,
Yes, you are.
the man of the people, and we're playing Below.
Yes,
Brian,
we are.
you've been playing this game.
Yeah, this is the PAX East build. So if you were at that show, this is the version that you got to play. So this is the latest game from Capybara Games.
They've done
Super Time Force.
Let's say it together.
Okay.
Super Time Force and what was the Sword and Sorcery? What was that one?
Super Brothers.
Super Brothers, yeah.
And so basically the whole point of this game is you're an explorer, you're going into this dungeon, you're a very little guy in a huge world.
Jeff Cork's favorite thing.
Jeff Cork's favorite thing. That's all I could think of when I was playing this game.
You said roguelike, so
it's
you die and then
and it's all
get to start over
procedurally
from
generated.
the beginning again.
Pretty much. There are ways to unlock things. It's very Dark Souls and Zelda inspired. The combat, I've spoken with the guys at Capybara, and they've said that Wind Waker continually is their inspiration for the combat.
Sure. I can almost see that maybe in the art a little bit too. It's got
it's got like that hand painted aesthetic. Not quite cell shaded like Zelda, like Wind Waker, but you can see it's kind of a dark and gloomy world that carries over into the game itself once you get into the dungeon. So this is just kind of like an introductory area where we're just kind of walking towards the dungeon. We don't have a lot of time that we can show off right now, so I'm just making a beeline straight for the dungeon rather than exploring this beach and cliff front.
Should we jump ahead then?
Let's get into the dungeon first. I'll show off something that you can that becomes a common theme. So
one thing that intrigued me about this game when I first heard about it is like you die and you come back as like I think you're a descendant or something like that.
Yeah, it's another character,
and which has been explored before, obviously. But in this case, they move around certain aspects of the world.
Yeah, the world, the dungeon is completely different.
So they rearrange everything for this new character to sort of like simulate this idea that he's never been in there before.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea. Obviously, one that has been done by other studios and other games, but I like the justification for having it here. But yeah, we can skip ahead to the part I was going to show off. We'll skip ahead here.
It's right around the corner.
So throughout the entire dungeon, you're going to come across campfires, such as this one right here.
Right, and
you light them, and you can do different things, such as crafting. You can take a little nappy nap. And
nappy nap.
One of the things that's new in this build, because as we mentioned, you die and you come back as a different character.
Sure.
This thing that we're going to right now, it's not going to be a whole lot of use to us, but this is called the Pocket. It's a brand new thing that they're showing off in this build. Basically, it's kind of like a camp, and you can store things and say you're going to go into a super difficult area, you can store like a really awesome weapon so you don't lose it when you die.
I like that. I don't know how you describe it. That sort of zoomed in look where everything just looks super tiny.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just the camera swung way out to kind of give you the impression that you're in this little character and
right.
This huge.
Well, but I think they're doing something a little bit more than just zooming out. Like I think there's sort of a lens filter or something on it to make it everything. You know what I'm talking about? Make everything look tiny. Like the opening of the
wide
Colbert
angle
report. Not the Colbert report.
Depth of field.
Depth of field.
Yeah, it's like a depth
tilt
of field
shift.
effect.
But yeah, so that is the Pocket, which is the new thing. Like if I had items at this point, that would be something that we could do. And then when this guy dies, which he inevitably will, because it's kind of like when your first character in this game is always going to be trying to figure out how to play the game. So you come across these chapters, can light little torches because this game is all about finding light sources, and it reveals more of the action. So if I'm just walking along as a new character, dead. So your first character is always going to be about figuring out how how the game works. Like if I had never played the game, I wouldn't have known that was a spike trap. And then you're like, oh, okay, that's what spike traps look like. And then here's my new character.
Your new character picks up from the bonfire.
Yes, in this build, I believe. I don't know if that's what it's going to be in the final game. But yeah, see, it's like you've never been here before. It's completely different. Now there's enemies. So they turn white when they're about to attack, so you know when you encounter.
What was that stuff?
Stack of wood or something for crafting.
Okay.
So there is a.
Did you experiment with crafting much?
A little bit. It's kind of tricky just because I don't know any of the recipes. One thing that they're talking about doing is a recipe book. So this is the lantern. This is actually a really, really important tool. I'm trying to. There we go. So this lantern, obviously, if you're carrying it, it's going to give you a better view of the action, and it's going to also.
Brian, don't you want to go look at your father's corpse?
Yeah, well, actually, that is another thing you can do. Is your father's corpse is right there. You can retrieve items. If I had any items, I'd be able to pick them up and have them for my character, which is what the pocket also helps you with. So you don't have to worry about
store items.
Having to go
kind of
retrieve.
like the magic box in Res Evil.
Yeah, so we're seeing how the combat works. Kind of the exploration, like as you go, you're like, oh, okay, here we go.
So how does the combat feel? Do you enjoy the action?
I do. Let's skip ahead just so we can find some more enemies and we can talk more about the combat.
Yeah, we're going to keep this going. We'll just keep skipping.
All right, so we've skipped ahead to another section of this first little area. We found some new enemies.
And we're back.
So far, all the enemies kind of look like this. As you get deeper into the game, I believe you encounter new ones. These are just kind of bigger versions of these guys that we were fighting earlier. They take a little bit more hits to hit or hits to kill.
Hits to kill.
So you can see the lantern is lighting up this tripwire right here.
Of that. Yeah, that looks dangerous.
So it's just a tripwire. Doesn't really do much. Usually you trip and like fall flat on your face, so it'll stun you. So like the enemies will have an upper hand.
So like during combat, it's
not great. So I'm actually gonna. So it's illuminating. So I'm gonna let you see what happens when you get hit. So you see that heart above me now? That is my life. So I'm slowly bleeding out. So if I don't cauterize this wound, I'm going to just die. So you have pretty much one hit point with some flexibility.
Well, how are you supposed to cauterize it?
So I can find some fire and use my sword to cauterize it, and that'll stop the bleeding. But I'll still have, like, if I get hit again, it's going to start right where that is. So I need to find a spot where I can light a fire and use my sword to cauterize it. So there's some, like, torch areas. So I am going down quick. But yeah, the combat feels great. There's a spot. So let me kill guys that are coming after me.
That looks dangerous over there.
Uh-oh. Come on. There we go. So I just cauterized it, saved my life. You can also craft bandages to do that if you don't have a fire source.
Okay.
But yeah, combat's great. It's very kind of counter-based.
Do you recover the life you lost?
No, but you can craft food. So I got hit again. I'm going to go back and cauterize. You can craft food or find food to eat and regain your hit points that you have lost. But I kind of like that you have to be super, super careful with every single encounter just because of how easy it is to die in this game.
Sure. I like the enemy design. They just kind of look like crystals or something.
Yeah, and I don't really understand like what kind of creature they are. There's not a whole lot of backstory in this game. Obviously, it just kind of throws you into the world and says, "Good luck."
It's a short look, but it's a good look at the game. Like, we don't want to spoil too much. Oh, you're about to die.
Oh boy, I'm good.
Thanks for showing us the game, Brian.
Yeah, sure thing.
Looks cool. Comes out later this summer.
Yeah, it comes out some point this summer. They haven't really said when. But hopefully sooner rather than later. There we go. I died. I bled out. And now it's going to be a new character.
Died nobly.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Test Chamber. And we will catch you next time. We're about to go die ourselves.
Have a good night.